news, views, voices of the global Indian community. India abroad.
भारत के प्रति हम जितना गर्व करते हैं, मैं दुनिया में हमारे जितने देशवासी रहते हैं, दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में रहते हैं, उनसे मेरा एक आग्रह है, आप कम से कम हर वर्ष 5 नॉन-इंडियन फ्रेंड्स, इंडियन नहीं, 5 नॉन-इंडियन फ्रेंड्स को हिंदुस्तान देखने के लिए भेजने का काम कर सकते हैं, तो प्रेरित कर सकते हैं। अभी से टारगेट दीजिएगा, इन 5 को तो मुझे हिंदुस्तान देखने के लिए भेजना है, और फिर उसको समझाइए। देखिए, हमारे यहाँ दक्षिण में ये है, तमिलनाडु में ये है, उड़ीसा में ये है, बंगाल में ये है, जाइए। आपको कल्पना है दोस्तों, आप दुनिया की कितनी बड़ी ताकत बन जाओगे, और आप देखिए, देखते ही देखते दुनिया के लिए एक ही डेस्टिनेशन बन जाएगा, चलो इंडिया।
It is now your chance to become an incredible India ambassador and join the Chalo India movement. Simply log on to the Chalo India website and create your profile. Upon creating your profile, you will receive a set of unique codes. For each available code, enter the details of the foreign friend whom you would wish to travel to India. Encourage your friends to travel to India using images, videos, and other information available on the Chalo India website. And once your friend completes the trip to India, you will be rewarded for your efforts in contributing to the Chalo India movement.
Thank you very much. And like Prime Minister, I am inspired to speak in Hindi. जय हिंद, नमस्कार। जो हमने अपनी स्पीच देखी, उसके बाद without wasting much time, we can start our documentary. But before that, the documentary, to set the context, basically documentary क्या है, उसका क्या context है, I would like to call Dr. Kanix Kanikeshwaran to the stage to give a brief introduction of himself also and the documentary also. Very frank, उनका बायोडाटा देखने के बाद I was mesmerized. I do not find the words to describe what he is. Please, sir.
Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namaste. Greetings to everyone. I don't even know what to say. First of all, Honorable Ambassador, thank you so much for your kind words and your fine introduction and the brilliant speech. And Jigarji, thank you for everything and for your kind introduction. So to put the movie in context, see, first of all, so we're from all over India, right? We're from all over Bharat. What is common across Bharat is Shastriya Sangeet. Shastriya Sangeet is nothing other than Sangeet or music which follows a certain set of rules. It follows the Sangeeta Shastra. And Sangeeta Shastra has evolved over a period of more than a couple of thousand years, much longer than any other tradition in the world. Now, it has different manifestations. In the south, we refer to it as Carnatic music because it has evolved with a set of influences which are different from those in the north. And in the rest of India, we refer to it as Hindustani music. Both are different expressions of the same Sangeeta Shastra with a different set of terms. We have terms like Pan in Tamil and the Pan Isai, which came into being about 1,000 years ago in the hands of Rajaraja Sola. Most of you must have heard of the name of the film Ponniyin Selvan, right? It was a blockbuster film. It was the central character in that is the king by name Rajaraja Sola. He is known for building the temple, but more than that, he is the one that really set the context for South Indian music by codifying the ragas or the Pan Isai that was around at that time. And setting a tradition which has been followed in every single temple, every single Saivite temple in southern India for about 1,000 years. It's an unbroken tradition. It's unbelievable, and there are many symbols of that. When I entered this building, the first symbol I saw is that of Nataraja. Nataraja immediately takes you back to the Chola period. That's when the bronzes of the Cholas became famous. We have another symbol in the same room. We see Shiva Dakshinamurti seated in in a silent pose with four rishis around him, absorbing the learning as the form of the ultimate teacher. So all these imagery is pretty much from southern India, although all this imagery has a pan-Indian significance. Now Muthuswami Dikshita, jumping straight into the topic of the film, was a musician that stuck to the Shastriya Sangeet paradigm. He spent 5 years of his life in Banaras, and all his compositions are in Sanskrit. One of the things that he did was, during his time, the colonization of India was unstoppable. I mean, a lot of things were happening, and India really did not have control over the colonization or anything that was happening at that point in time. And along with the British bands, which accompanied the armies and all that, came a lot of Western tunes that the bands marched to. And these are tunes that were jigs and reels and marches and waltzes and so on and so forth. And when Dikshita heard these tunes, I mean, he did not ignore them, and he rather negotiated with the tunes and wrote lyrics to these tunes. Now, why is this even significant? I mean, Dikshita was a person that documented the legacy of temples, every temple that he visited. I mean, the temple culture of southern India is huge. I mean, the ambassador just talked about the engineering marvels in India of huge temples that we don't have any idea as to how they were constructed. So Dikshita visited these temples. Now, again, going back to the name Dikshita itself. So we know of Madhuri Dikshit, we know of Sheila Dikshit, and so Dikshit is a Dikshitaha, is a Sanskrit name. In Tamil, just like you add a G in Hindi, you add an R in the end, so it becomes Dikshita. So Muthuswami Dikshita wrote lyrics in Sanskrit and created long compositions describing the temples that he visited in great detail. And what he did when he came across these tunes was, he wrote similar lyrics, except they were metric in nature, on top of the Western tunes that he heard. Which is something really extraordinary. Why would somebody do something like this 250 years ago? We'll explore all those ideas in this film. So the film traces the life journey of Muthuswami Dikshita, how he listened to these tunes, and how I came into contact with these tunes, and there's a lot of interesting stories about that, which will all come to light once we are done with watching the film. I really want to thank my friend Karthik for making this evening happen, and I thank all of you for being here, and I hope my only sankalpa or wish is that you all take something from this film with you. A little slice of Indian history, Indian cultural history, which is not documented anywhere else, and please share this with your friends. And one final thing I want to say is, when I saw the Prime Minister Modi ji talking about Chalo India, it's like he had mentioned this in a conversation with the diaspora, and I was fortunate to be part of the diaspora of the audience during that time. That was during the Howdy Modi event in Houston, but this is a different audience, and the message is consistent, and there can be no better time than now for this kind of a message. So, having said all that, I'm looking forward to watching this movie and experiencing it the same way that you are. Thank you very much.
The second temple town in southern India, where Dikshita's